Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and in this tutorial we'll be talking about Mantaflow and we'll be making a smoke simulation with it. It's a new feature in Blender 2.8. So first of all we'll just delete and hide all this. I think I'll just delete the light and hide the camera. It looks good right now. Now we just have to add a UV sphere and just scale it down a bit, just something like that. And now we have to add a curve in which the smoke simulation will be there and it will be following that curve. So I'll just rotate the Bezier curve in x 90 degree, and if we tab into edit mode, then we'll see some lines. We can customize it and we can just move it all about there and extrude. So now we have adjust our Bezier curve. Now we want the sphere to move on this path which we have just created. So select the sphere, go to constraints and follow path. Select the Bezier curve and animate path. Now if you see, our sphere is following the path. Now it's just ending at 100 frames, so I'll set the end frame to 100. So now we have to select the curve and you can set the resolution so that the edge of the curve becomes smooth and the sphere follows it properly. So now if you see, our sphere is following the path nicely, and now we have to add the smoke. So we'll select the sphere and go to object, quick effects and quick smoke. So the smoke domain has been added to our sphere. So let's go to the physics tab. I'll just increase the timing of the smoke to 100 frames and this should be great. I'll keep the type to modular and let's adjust the size of the object. So as I've adjusted the size of the domain, I will set the resolution to something like 32 and bake the data. So the baking of the data is done. So let's play it. So I think I'll be needing to readjust the size of the domain. So I have readjusted the size of the domain and baked it again. So I hope it will be nice. Yes. So now we can see that the smoke is not dissolving. We want it to dissolve, so we will enable the dissolve and play with the settings. So now as you can see that our sphere, I mean the smoke, is dissolving. So we will also enable the noise and play with the settings some more. So I've baked the data and applied the noise, so it looks nice till now at least. So we will be adding a texture to the sphere which will be held as the texture. So let's set it to cloud and increase the contrast. And first of all, make sure that your sphere is choose to flow, and in here it should be inflow. So now click on textures, enable textures, and select the texture we just made now. So I've changed the settings and baked all the data. So our smoke simulation looks good enough for now. This is an intermission, and in the catch folder, make sure that you have a unique and different folder selected for storing the data. As there will be a mistake by me, as I have selected a wrong folder with wrong information already set. Now let's split the window and go to the rendered view. Now let's go to the shader editor and shade the smoke. So let's set the attributes to density and the color to something like red, and it should be applied, but it's not applied because I told you the reason before.
A few moments later.
So I have changed the folder of the catch, so there is a new attribute out there which is the red color. So now if we see, the red color is successfully applied in the render view too. I've changed the color of the smoke in the physics property of the sphere also. You can see it in this viewport display. So now if we see, if we change the color is changing in the rendered view. So we just don't want to set the color to red, but we want the color to be something like gradient. So for that we will first add a texture coordinate. So now we will add mapping. So mapping, not UV map, mapping. So now we'll connect the general to the vector and add the second vector to the color. So it's something like a rubbish 4 gradient color which I don't like. So for adjusting the color, we will add a color ramp. So let's add a color ramp. Color ramp. And for this, I will add the the right hand side color to something like red, and the left side color to like blue. So I'll be adjusting the colors to something like purple and red gradient. So you can adjust it by yourself. So I will be changing the color in the viewport also. So now let's change the render settings and render the animation out there. So we can see that the sphere and the smooth is not in the proper position because we have not set our camera till now. So let's set our camera. So we can see the sphere out there because we have not disabled the sphere in the rendered view. So let's disable the sphere in the rendered view. So for disabling the sphere, you have to click on here and turn on the camera option. So you will see this camera option and you have to turn it off. And if we render it now, so we can see that the sphere is not there.
A few moments later.
So let's see our animation.